Hello guys, as you can see, we came really close to a takedown on Tuesday. Watching Hernan Gomez, I hope you guys got into that play. Just such a great value play. Obviously, I can't say that I expected him to get, crazy 46-point game, but just a lot of the core guys I talked about, obviously with Paul George being rolled out. Late news, Kawhi was already a great play, but just even more, a lot better with Paul George out. And so on a back-to-back, looking at today's slate, I'll get to the Clippers later, but starting off first game, Washington, Philly. For the Washington side, this team's going to be not on back-to-back, so Westbrook's going to be playing here. When Westbrook plays, I just don't have much interest in all of these other guys. So my sole interest here is Westbrook, 10.2K. He rebounded pretty well in the first game against Philly. Philly's a pretty big team, so for Westbrook, someone that definitely needs to get his rebounds. Usually it is a little concerning, but 10.2K Westbrook, he's just been such great this year for fantasy that I'm still have interest at the price tag. Philly side, Joel Embiid, I really like him. He's gonna be my preferred Sixers play because Thomas Bryant just has not been able to handle any centers, and Embiid, one of the best in the NBA. This is someone who is just so productive. As long as this game stays close, which Washington does keep everything pretty competitive, so I do think that they can keep it close. And Embiid 9.9K, he definitely has 70-point upside here, and it's going to be my favorite play here. Ben Simmons 8,800. I like him as well just because of the fast-paced environment. It sets up for someone like Simmons who just has triple-double upside that can also have a really good upside game, plays big minutes. Houston, Indy, for the Houston side with everyone healthy, I'm just not going to be paying James Harden, paying 11K for him. Christian Wood is fine, 7,700, but not a core play. John Wall, a little bit better. I think for Houston, if you had to pick one, it would be Wall for me. He was in foul trouble last game, and he just wasn't shooting as well. Usage wasn't the same, so I do expect that to be a lot better this time. And also playing 37 minutes is something that we should usually see for him. For the Indiana side, this team played in a back-to-back, they played overtime last time, so their minutes were a little bit inflated. Sabonis has been in foul trouble a lot, and he actually fouled out last time. But 9,200 still, like, this just he deserves it, but this is more of like a cash play. His upside is definitely capped because he just doesn't have that same kind of 70-point ceiling that you can get for a guy that is priced here. And then Brogdon is okay, but he's been playing out of his mind. Like, it's a great matchup, but for him to get, for him to shoot this well, get a lot of defense stats, like, they're outliers. Like, he can do it again, but just for everything to come together at 8K now, it's just not going to be a core play. I prefer Victor Oladipo. He's 7K. His price is the same, and again, Houston, New Orleans, they're two. I don't want to say similar, but their defense isn't that great for both of them, and also just they're fast-paced. They usually are pretty competitive. So I like Oladipo. He wasn't actually shooting particularly well until last game, which overtime definitely helped him. But still, 7K with TJ Warren out, he definitely gets a big boost for value. TJ McConnell definitely benefited with a lot of guys being in foul trouble. He's usually the guy that they just put in, slide everyone down. So he's someone that can't earn minutes, but a very low floor. When he does, he is pretty productive, though, for a guard. And Aaron Holiday, this guy has the lowest floor probably in the league. Like, he has been Tony Snelling it for the last few games, and he's still starting, though. And Houston, it's a pretty good matchup once again. So, yeah, I'm going to still have some shares of him just because he's this cheap. And if he plays well, he'll definitely earn the minutes. So, low floor, but for tournaments when he's this cheap, he definitely has some upside. Cleveland side, they are going to be getting back at least Isaac Okoro, but they are losing Dante Exum, so the minutes still, they could be really concentrated, but still, I don't want to play some of these guys. Like, I don't want to pay Colin Sexton 7,200. I want to pay 6,900 for Nance or 5,500 for Osman. Like, I'd rather just not chase that Osman game. So for this Cleveland side, it's just really not appealing. I think Drummond just, if the game is close, it blew out, he probably does play closer to like 36, and at 36 minutes, at his price now, a lot cheaper, I do have interest in him. Orlando side, I think Vucevic is going to be one of the core, or not like core play overall, but favorite play from just the Magic side. because Drummond is not a great defender, even though he just gets the stats, like he just gets block and steals. He's not a great individual defender. So still with some of these injuries, I think Vucevic at 8,700 is pretty good for tournaments. He usually isn't someone that gets a whole lot of ownership. Aaron Gordon, his minutes still are a concern, but he was able to put up a good game. Now with his price going up though, and having that good game, ownership's going to be a little bit higher. I'm probably not going to have a lot of him, if at all. And then gotta watch Evan Fournier, 5,300. Michael Carter-Williams is out though, so that's gonna help like Cole Anthony a bit, Terrence Ross, but he's priced up, and it is important to know James Ennis is going to be back, probably going to be on minutes limit, but that's going to hurt Dwayne Bacon. So Orlando just not really appealing like his overall game. Charlotte's side, I do want to target someone on this team. It is tough to figure out who because their usage is pretty spread out with Hayward, Rozier, LaMelo, Graham. So it's going to be tough to figure out. But Atlanta, it's always just a great fantasy matchup. I probably prefer Rozier or Ball just because they're cheaper than Hayward. And I feel like they're just better plays, even though they're a little bit expensive than Graham. Their minutes are a little bit better. LaMelo Ball always just blowout proof. And he's someone that is not a triple-double threat, but he's near it. And he really hasn't been shooting that well. So when we do get a game where he can shoot just a little bit better, he's been getting the peripherals at 6K. He's still a little bit cheap. Like I would say he should be closer to 7K. For Rozier and Graham, they're just similar. Like if they knock down shots, they're going to probably be in like tournament winning lineups. That's kind of upside that they have, especially at this price. They're a lot cheaper than usual, and it's great matchup. So I do have a lot of interest for tournaments though. Very low floor, so not going to be cash plays. And then PJ Washington, 5K against Atlanta. Atlanta is going to be a good rebounding team this year with Capella and John Collins. Last time when they played against Philly, twice actually, they were just staggering his center minutes when Joel Embiid wasn't on the court. So I think for this matchup, it's going to be tough for that to happen because they have Collins and Capella, but Collins, like, he's not like a true big 7-footer. So PJ Washington definitely can still pick up backup center minutes, and he's someone that definitely has some upside. So 5K, I have some interest in him. Atlanta side, Trae Young, 9,600, looks good. Collins, Capella as well. Probably prefer Collins over Capella, even though the minutes haven't been all that secure. I just feel like Collins' upside is a lot better. He takes a lot more shots, and that's what we want. So he's just a more talented offensive player, and he's only $500 more. For the rest of these guys, like these young dudes, Hunter, Reddish, Herter, I would probably need to see if Bogdan plays. If Bogdan's going to be out, then that makes these guys a little bit more appealing, but they're priced up a little bit. Like these guys were like in the 3Ks, especially Reddish and Herter earlier on. So not going to be core plays even if Bogdan's going to be out. Boston side, Marcus Smart, we don't know about his status, but our same thing with Jeff Teague, so kind of have to watch. But Jason Tatum still going to be in play regardless of who's in. 9K without Kemba still, he's going to just have all the usage that he can handle. Same with Jaylen Brown. I still prefer Tatum with a $900 difference though. If Smart's in, that just makes like Pritchard, Teague, all just not on our radar. If Teague is still out, Smart's still out, Pritchard's going to be fine. Waters as well, 3,100, because he started last time. He's not going to get big minutes, and he's not as productive as Pritchard, but he shot really poorly. He was 1 for 8. And when he started as the point guard, even though this is a tough match against the Heat, the price only moved $100. Like, when you pay for a guy that's 3,100, it allows you to just get so much. Like, as you saw in the lineup that I had, with Jeff Green, he got me 8 points, but I was still able to come close to a takedown. So that's the kind of thing that just opens up everything. Miami side, Jimmy Butler's going to be the play here. Bam is okay, but 8,500 just a little bit too much. Butler, he was on pace to play closer to his regular minutes, if not for the blowout. And he's someone who's really productive. He just shouldn't be this cheap, even though, yeah, it's Boston. He's going to see some good defenders. Still, we prefer Butler. And Duncan Robinson, he's fine, 4,600, but low floor again, only for tournaments. Then Kelly Olynyk, he got a power forward eligibility back. He's been starting at the power forward position the last 2 games, and against Boston, they might switch him out because Tatum's going to be the 4. Or actually, wait. Tatum, never mind. Tatum has been playing the 3 because they've been starting Daniel Tice and Tristan Thompson at the 4 and 5. So I think Olynyk in that case would still start then. And he's someone who is very productive when he gets the minutes. Minutes have been really consistent. So even though it's not like as high as we like to see for starters in the 30s, he's that productive. And so at 4,400, he's still going to be in play. Still very good upside at this price. And then, yeah, on to the next game for Utah. They're on a back-to-back. It is the Knicks, so I'm not going to be too worried. Maybe they rest Conley, but they didn't do that last time, so I have to assume he's in. If he's out, then obviously Mitchell, Ingles, a lot more in play, Clarkson. But straight up, Mitchell, Gobert are going to be pretty good plays. I think Favors, again, for 11 games, so you probably don't need to go there. But if Gobert were to get into foul trouble or get hurt, Favors, automatic, just going to be the backup, picks up minutes. New York side, Nerlens Noel is questionable, and that's important to note because that meant Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle, they had to handle all the center minutes, and so that means Randle played 43 minutes last time. RJ Barrett played 44. I really don't want to pay 9,500 for Randle, but for what he's been doing this season, like he's worth this price tag. But for me, I just probably want to take my chances that he doesn't get 62 DraftKings points again because Rudy Gobert, they have some really good defenders in the Jazz, and I just don't really want to pay that. I think I'd rather go with RJ Barrett, 7K. As long as you can make like half his shots, he's gonna be pretty good because he just plays such heavy minutes. Like he contributes with everything else. So 7K, I think I prefer to pay that than 9,500 for Randle. Offer Payne with Quickly and Rivers back. They just steal minutes, so not gonna be on Payne. Robinson always gonna be in play 5,600, but massive foul trouble risk every time. Detroit, Blake Griffin's gonna be back, or Killian Hayes is questionable though. Same with Josh Jackson, so gonna have to monitor that. I think with Blake back, Jeremy Grant, he's been great, but probably not gonna play him. I go to Blake first then, but again, blowout potential, you just never know. So if you were to play, I think Blake is the guy, but DeLon Wright, he's gonna be interesting if Killian Hayes is out. He was gonna be a DNP if Hayes didn't get hurt. So that's a bit concerning, but maybe because it was a blowout or back-to-back last time, that maybe this time with O'Day rest, DeLon Wright's going to be back in the rotation. He's someone that definitely has upside, so definitely I would look to him if Killian Hayes is going to be out. For the Milwaukee side, I think Giannis, 10.9K. He's fine. Blowout risk again, though. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, same thing with them. Because they are cheaper, I think that they're just going to be in play because of that they can get there in 3 quarters. But yeah, like just blowout potential. Always going to be concerned for the Bucks. Brook Lopez, 4,200. He's okay against the Pistons. He's got a low floor, but his price is really cheap now. So think that for tournaments, you can take shots with him. OKC, SGA, 7,300. New Orleans, I've talked about this a lot. Like, SGA is going to have a breakout game. The Pelicans, they play faster. Defense hasn't been as bad, but still, his price is finally falling down. And sure, every game OKC can get blown out, but SGA he's going to be the guy. So I'm gonna want to play him at least for tournaments, like maybe like 20% or something, because he just has a monster ceiling with some of the teammates that he has on his team. George Hill, maybe 4,500, but minutes just aren't going to be there. He needs to be really productive when he's out on the court. New Orleans side, Ingram, Zion. Ingram's price is a little bit expensive now. I think he can still get there, but I think I probably wouldn't look towards him as much as when he was closer to 8K. Zion, 7,800, a little bit cheaper, so probably prefer him a little bit over Ingram. Lonzo, he's okay. Bledsoe, Adams are priced up though. JJ Redick, I have to mention him because he's 3,200 and he got really big minutes last time. Definitely Steven Adams' foul trouble helped because they were sliding everyone down. But you just need him to knock down shots. He's not going to do a whole lot of anything else, so low for single digits, but he has upside. This isn't a bad matchup at all, so he can get there. He's really cheap. Toronto, Van Vliet's okay, but I will always prefer Lowry as long as they keep the rotation with Van Vliet playing with Siakam, Lowry start with the second unit. So Lowry's going to be the play here, but I think Van Vliet, Siakam still, they're going to be good. Phoenix side, Booker and Chris Paul all in play. Booker played massive minutes last time. It is a concern that OG Anunoby probably going to defend him, but Booker still 7,900. We know how great this guy is, how talented he is, so he'll be in play. DeAndre Ayton, 7,300. There are a lot of 7,300 dudes on the slate, so it's going to be important to nail it, like Butler, SGA as well. So Ayton going to be in the same conversation. Chris Paul, 7K. Lowry and VanVleet are pretty good defenders, but Chris Paul's a vet. 7K, if he plays big minutes, which I think this game can stay competitive for sure, I'll have some tournament interest. He's just someone that doesn't ever get a lot of ownership. Crowder's okay, 4,600, but his range of outcomes is like 10 to 40. So tournament play. Clippers. Now this is where I want to get into it with a back-to-back. Paul George rested. I think that's why Kawhi would rest here, and so that's why I'm going to plug in Paul George as a core play and Lou Will. With one of them out, Lou just picks up all the usage, like the minutes getting staggered, everything. Lou Williams he's just in so much better spot. So George, Lou will be the guys. Now you can take shots with other guys like Ibaka, Batum. All these guys will get usage increases. Beverly had a big game. Kennard, he starts. So they become a lot more intriguing. Golden State side, I think, with probably Kawhi being out, this game can definitely stay close. Curry's been playing really well. Oubre 5,500, he's cheap enough. Draymond Green, Wiseman, their minutes are the concern because both of them can have really like a 30, 40 point ceiling. Wiseman, more of a concern. Draymond, though, if it was a blowout, maybe we do see him get in the 30s. So 5,200 with just how well rounded his game is, I do have some tournament appeal, tournament interest for him. And then the last game, Chicago, they're on a back-to-back, but they didn't rest anyone, and they are pretty short-handed, so I don't think they can really do that. I think Levine, White, they're fine. Otto Porter, though, he's like not getting a whole lot of minutes. He's productive, but that just kind of caps his upside. Wendell Carter, 5,400, he's going to be in play, has some upside. Temple, 3,300, if you really need a value down there. He's someone that takes a lot of shots, but low floor. And then Sacramento, lastly, Fox is okay, but Buddy Hield, 6,600. Chicago's a team that definitely gives a lot up to the shooting guard position, so Buddy has a lot of upside with Bogdan now out of town, so I like Buddy, probably my favorite Kings player. Gonna have to mention Marvin Bagley, 5,200. This guy is a mystery, but if he plays well, which he hasn't at all, he has 40-point upside, and Chicago, they're a team that we can beat up with centers, so tournaments, but not safe at all. So favorite plays, Clippers, it's going to be thumbnail Paul George, Lou Will, and then the $7,300 guys in Jimmy Butler, and then Shea, and then I think fifth guy, it's going to be one of these Hornets. So, take your pick, Rozier, Ball, or Graham. I'm going to go with Ball just because he's a little bit safer, but Rozier for tournaments probably, like, they're really close. So these 5 are going to be the core plays. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like before you go. And you can always ask me anything down in the comment section or find me on Twitter at BallFulls. Link will be in the description below. So good luck on the slate, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.